Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
We've got a lot of snow and it's Catholic Schools Week. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story coming up.
Members of the Harlem Globetrotters visited Mater de la Rosa School in Holyoke to kick off Catholic Schools Week for the students with a special message of positivity and purpose. And I'll talk with the co-authors of a new children's book, Amity Grace and the Gifts of the Stars, and learn about the special star who is a leader of the Force for Good. It's all just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. Even a near record-breaking storm didn't prevent Catholic schools across Western Massachusetts from celebrating Catholic Schools Week. The week is really an opportunity to celebrate Catholic education, families, educators, and all who work and sacrifice to allow children to learn in an environment where prayer is intertwined with academics. Carolee McGrath went school hopping and has this report.
Kindergartners at St. Stanislaus Kostka School in Adams kicked off Catholic Schools Week for us with prayer. They spent the morning on Tuesday making cards for firefighters and the police, and then it was time to line up and go to specials. The entire school was involved in community service for Catholic Schools Week, which is celebrated nationwide, highlighting the merits of Catholic education.
Right now we just did cards for the military. In second grade, we did cards for EMS.
8th grader Owen Manning has two younger siblings at St. Stan's. He says the faith aspect is pretty special.
I basically am not Catholic, right? I was not baptized. But some things that go on in your life are only explainable by God.
Chris Bursaw is the principal at St. Stanislaus Kostka School.
Catholic schools are really amazing because Catholic or not, it's a special place that we can actually come together and celebrate being different from the public schools, so we can openly share the faith with fellow Catholics and non-Catholics and really do other things like Owen was talking about, like supporting local law enforcement and all these projects that really focus on our community.
One of the big stories about Catholic Schools Week 2026 is all of this snow, up to 2 feet of it. St. Stanislaus Kostka School had a snow day on Monday and started Tuesday with a 2-hour delay, but many of the other schools had 2 snow days. Of course, Jesus makes us flexible, and all the schools just rolled with it. West Springfield had 2 snow days, and the snow made recess lots of fun.
We had to do some rescheduling of our events, but we've rescheduled and everything is going to take place just at different dates and different times. And as you can see, the children are loving the snow.
St. Mary's Academy in Longmeadow started Catholic Schools Week on Wednesday with Mass. Then it was back to class. These first graders had calendar activities and some pretty amazing answers. What's your favorite part of the day?
Snack.
Okay, that was a warm-up question, but listen to this. What is your favorite part of Catholic school, would you say?
Seeing everyone every single day.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
Do you like to pray?
Yes,
How come?
because it's about Jesus.
What is your favorite part of Catholic school?
When we go to Mass and pray.
And pray they did. From first grade to high school, Catholic schools are about witnessing to the faith. St. Mary's High School juniors and seniors in Westfield kicked it all off a little early last weekend, heading down to Washington, D.C. for the March for Life. Does this make Catholic school special for you?
Absolutely. I think who we are as Christians and Catholics, it's how we show our mission. We're fighting against this oppression of babies and then of women who are struggling, and showing our Catholic identity is huge, especially through this movement.
Rob LePage is the assistant principal and theology teacher.
I think it's important for the kids to see, one, the political process, that you can peacefully, make your feelings known. You can stand up for your faith, stand up for the unborn, stand up for mothers in need and families who need support.
Bishop William Burns celebrated Mass at Pope Francis Prep in Springfield on Thursday.
The great gift of a Catholic education is not just that we educate the mind as well as we do and strengthen their bodies, but also teach them virtue, to be in the image of Christ and to recognize that we're mind, body, and spirit. And that's the great gift of a Catholic education.
Senior Matt Streck, who came from public school, agrees. Matt is in the Christian leadership class at Pope and is a member of the Diocesan Youth Leadership Team.
Community is big. It's sometimes really hard with the faith if you're alone in it, it's super easy to just let it go and kind of forget about it and let it fall into the background of life. But with when you're surrounding yourself with people who are very confident in their faith and very into their faith, it is so much easier to find your faith, grow in your faith, and grow as a person.
Sing hallelujah, Christ is risen.
And that is truly the gift of Catholic schools. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And students at Mater Dolorosa School in Holyoke kicked off Catholic Schools Week a little early this year. On January 21st, the school had a special assembly featuring the Harlem Globetrotters, who brought with them a powerful message of positivity and purpose, emphasizing that success comes from making good choices and doing good for others. Michael Pedro reports.
On Wednesday, January 21st, members of the Harlem Globetrotters offshoot team, known as the Harlem Tricksters, came to Mater Dolorosa Catholic School in Holyoke to motivate the students to make good choices. As an opening act to this year's Catholic Schools Week, the event turned out to be a great success.
So this is actually our kickoff to our Catholic Schools Week to celebrate our students. So we usually have an assembly, and their message is the most positive message that we've heard.
The Harlem Tricksters are led by Kevin Showboat Jackson, who owns Showboats Entertainment Basketball out of West Hartford, Connecticut. At 9 o'clock sharp, he and Malik Rooftop Cameron would take to the court and entertain the crowd with some tricks. After they finished those tricks, Jackson addressed the crowd. With quick wit, he made the whole group laugh.
They told me you was gonna come here and entertain a whole bunch of new people.
After cracking some jokes with everyone, Jackson donned a pair of his magic glasses and selected a student from the crowd to join him and Cameron on the court. Their first challenge for the student was to shoot a ball into a hoop. Then, he got the chance to grab a headband from Showboat's hands, which he excelled in with flying colors. Following this, the Tricksters played some other small games, then pumped the brakes on the fun to add some important messages to the presentation. Centered around making good choices, the messages left an impact on the students.
They're going to be successful.
After the message, Cameron and Jackson pulled off some more tricks, including an impressive slam dunk from Cameron and Jackson's famed backwards half-court shot. Then, they got the crowd engaged one final time by closing out the event with a sing-along. Both Jackson and Cameron made sure to blend an enjoyable event with a meaningful message. Here's what they had to say about the event.
It was great. Love seeing the interaction on the kids' faces. They enjoyed it, smiled. We got them to sing. That was a good show. So, the tricks. Everything was perfect.
I think the event went really well. Teachers were interactive, kids were very interactive. I feel as if everyone enjoyed it, A good thing, to put everyone together, to, have fun, and do things during the school day.
There's no doubt that 2026's Catholic Schools Week kicked off with a bang this year, and it gave the students a powerful and inspiring message to remember. For Real to Real, I'm Michael Pedro.
The Globetrotters are always there with a fun and inspiring message. And if your school or parish youth program would like to host a visit with the Globetrotters, we have contact information on our news website, iobserve.org. And still to come on Real to Real, we revisit a segment commemorating the 75th anniversary of the Worcester Diocese with a special local angle. And we'll hear the story of Amity Grace and the Gift of the Stars, a new children's book co-written by a teacher and a former principal from St. Thomas School in West Springfield. It's all still ahead on this edition of Real to Real.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
Just finished this today.
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
Welcome to St. Mary's High School, where you're more than a student, you're a saint. Here, we believe in every student. You don't have to have it all figured out to belong here. You have to be present, ready to grow spiritually and academically. And we'll walk alongside you on your journey. Here, faith and education unite, not just to fill your mind, but to help shape your heart and your soul, to help you find purpose, confidence, and something deeper than success, to help you become the person God created you to be. Following the example of Jesus, our teachers are mentors and role models. They're patient when you struggle, present when you need support, and determined to help you rise, even when you doubt yourself. Because they see something in you worth fighting for. At St. Mary's, you'll be challenged and supported. You'll be surrounded by people who believe in you. You will discover your voice, and you will build a foundation in green and gold that lasts a lifetime. Here, you're not a number, you're family. And when we say that, we mean it. We celebrate your wins, we lift you through the hard days, we grow together. Because this isn't just high school. This is home. This is your launch pad. This is where your story takes off.
1, 2, 3, saints!
Once a saint, always a saint.
Today we revisit a segment that first aired last May and featured the 75th commemoration of the Worcester Diocese and a festive anniversary mass held at St. Paul's Cathedral. In the story, Steve Kiltonick revisits some of the significant milestones of the diocese and the accomplishments of the 5 bishops who have served since it separated from the Diocese of Springfield and made a new diocese.
On March 2nd, a solemn mass commemorating the Worcester Diocese's 75th anniversary was held at St. Paul Cathedral. And celebrating the Mass with Robert McManus, the Bishop of Worcester, were Richard Henning, the Archbishop of Boston, William Byrne, Bishop of Springfield, and Richard Reedy, the Bishop of the Diocese of Norwich. Hundreds of other priests, religious men and women, deacons, and laity also participated as members of the Worcester Diocese rejoiced. Monsignor Francis Kelly, a retired priest, gave the homily, tracing the diocese's past, present, and future. He noted that on March 7, 1950, excitement was in the air, as evidenced by photos that appeared in the Worcester Telegram.
Showing police holding back literally thousands of people on Chatham Street and on High Street and in this whole area who came to witness this historic event.
15,000 people crowded the streets as the diocese's first bishop, John Wright, entered the cathedral to receive the crozier from the Archbishop of Boston, Richard Cushing, and assume possession of the newly installed cathedra, or bishop's chair. During the procession, Ray Delisle, the diocesan chancellor, carried the papal decree or bull issued from Pope Pius XII.
And that, in Latin, would be from the Holy Father to announce what was happening, that there was a diocese being established, what it would cover in terms of territory, and how the priest would be assigned there.
Delisle read the entire translated decree during the Mass. Wright was an auxiliary in Boston prior to being elevated to bishop. At 40, he was the youngest bishop in the country.
He was charismatic, he was young, he had lots of energy, and he really built this diocese in his first 7 or 8 years that he was here, 9 years. Opened 20 or 30 new parishes. He set the tone in a lot of ways for what the diocese would be known for. One of the first organizations he established was Catholic Charities within the first year. He established its own newspaper, the Catholic Free Press.
Wright was also instrumental in helping the Sisters of Providence build a new St. Vincent's Hospital in the city. This 1954 photo, titled Sisters Enjoy Recreation, taken at Holy Cross's Fitton Field, was a big fundraiser for Catholic Charities.
He was involved with Anna Maria coming to this diocese from Marlborough and building up a new college for women.
After 9 years of unprecedented growth, Bishop Wright left in 1959 to become Bishop of Pittsburgh. In 1969, he was appointed a cardinal and became Rome's prefect of the Vatican's Congregation of the Clergy. Bernard Flanagan, the Bishop of Norwich, was appointed as the diocese's second bishop.
Bishop Flanagan's background was a canon lawyer, but he was also just a very pastoral bishop. He recognized that a diocese would have challenges financially in order to be able to continue to do things. So he established the Bishop's Fund, the annual appeal.
During his 24-year episcopacy, Bishop Flanagan opened a number of Catholic schools and established youth programs like the CYO in parishes across the diocese. Flanagan is most associated with the Second Vatican Council. Recognizing its historical significance, he corresponded weekly with parishioners.
Every week he would write letters from the council, which were published in the Catholic Free Press. So people followed along the whole progress of the Second Vatican Council. They were living it with him. He came back from there energized and began to institute things very quickly in our diocese, in liturgical reform, in ecumenical discussions with the Orthodox.
Bishop Flanagan retired in 1983, and Timothy Harrington, a native of Chicopee, was appointed the diocese's third bishop in a ceremony held at the Worcester Memorial Auditorium.
His sister was a nun at Elms College. Another brother was a Monsignor in the Diocese of Springfield. So, you know, he was definitely of the Springfield Diocese in his heart.
With a background in social work, Harrington served as the head of Catholic Charities.
He was very involved with starting many programs for recovering alcoholics, for guys who were really on the street.
Bishop Harrington retired in 1994, and 65-year-old Daniel Riley, who had been Bishop of Norwich for 25 years, was named Worcester's fourth bishop. During Riley's tenure, the sex abuse crisis was foremost on everyone's minds.
He dealt with it. He had started boards before there was even a charter. He was involved with the USCCB and on the USCCB when The Charter for the Protection of Children was established. A proponent for the Catholic Church having a voice in the community. He was very involved in civic affairs, hosted interreligious dialogue, in finding ways for various faiths to come together and share at least their common values. He was also a proponent of Catholic schools and education, even though there had been a decline.
Bishop Riley retired in 2004, and Robert McManus was installed as the 5th bishop. McManus hails from Providence, where he was the auxiliary.
McManus comes from a completely different background in terms of his education and his focus. So it's moral theology.
Bishop McManus was confronted with many challenges when he arrived.
He had to continue to deal with many cases of abuse in our own diocese. He had to deal with closing churches and merging parishes and recognizing that we have fewer priests available today.
Bishop McManus, who celebrated his 20th anniversary last year, has embraced a component of the diocese that hasn't changed over 75 years, immigration.
When the diocese was established, the main ethnic groups were primarily those with European roots. Today, the diocese is more ethnically diverse than ever, and during the 75th anniversary Mass, these new groups showcase their traditions and culture.
What may have been a very slow start is now a very large African population served by an African ministry. We have a very large and thriving Vietnamese parish, but there are also Vietnamese throughout the communities.
As the former rector of the Providence Seminary, Bishop McManus has also prioritized vocations.
He has made that first and foremost out of all of his issues, that we be encouraging, inviting men into discernment for vocations. We've been blessed to have, on average, 2 to 3 ordinations a year.
In his homily, Monsignor Kelly recognized the many diocesan priests who faithfully bring God's heart to his people. Kelly offered these words from St. Paul the Apostle as the Worcester Diocese looks to a bright future with the 100th anniversary on the horizon.
Rejoice in the Lord always. Have no anxiety at all. Nothing can separate us from the love of Christ.
For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
An historical footnote is that the first rector of St. Paul's Cathedral was Reverend Monsignor Michael Patrick Kavanaugh, who was also the great-uncle of Kate Cabera, a former Catholic Communications staff member. Now, to the left of the main entrance to St. Paul's Cathedral in Worcester is a marble memorial tablet in Latin that was created by Monsignor Kavanaugh to commemorate the establishment of the Worcester Diocese and the installation of Bishop Wright. Monsignor Kavanaugh wanted to preserve forever the memory of that event, which took place on March 7th, 1950. And finally today, a teacher and a retired principal from St. Thomas the Apostle School in West Springfield have co-authored a children's book. Amity Grace and the Gift of the Stars is a timeless story about the strength of community, the beauty of kindness, and the light we each carry to brighten the world. Sister of St. Joseph Patty Houghton, the retired principal of St. Thomas the Apostle Elementary School in West Springfield, and Kathy Neffinger, a longtime teacher at the school, became first-time authors last fall.
This book is called Amity Grace and the Gifts of the Stars, and it was written by Sister Patty and myself.
The two educators had been friends for years, and one day a few years ago, Sister Patty approached Mrs. Neffinger with an idea.
I went into her classroom and said, I want to write a book, and I want you to join me.
Celebrating teachers, promoting peace and goodness in the world, and making a difference were a few of their ideas. Over the course of 2 summers, they wrote about this group of shining stars on a mission to spread courage, compassion, kindness, and joy wherever darkness begins to fall. The name of the leader of the stars is Amity Grace.
So I looked up the word, and I saw the word amity. And it said, it's harmony and peace and all this. I said, oh my God. So I go to work the next day, or go there, and I said, Kath, tell me what you think of this. Amity Grace could be the main star.
My daughter Grace, who Sister Patty first met when she started being the principal here, and Grace was in 2nd grade. And she was this cute little thing with these little glasses. And so when Sister Patty said, Amity, I loved the name, I loved Amity because of everything that we wanted to portray in the book. And then when she said, what about Amity Grace? And how could I say no to that? I said, okay, sure.
In the book, there are 5 stars, all with different strengths: kindness, courage, compassion, joy, and bravery. Coming upon the town of Hidden Pines, they each pick a person or a family to help out, sprinkling their stardust.
The stardust falling is a huge part of the story. Like, that's where the goodness, the compassion, the joy comes from. Whenever the stars sprinkle their little stardust over whoever needs help.
4th grader Lauren Dunbar says the book made her feel happy and encouraged, providing valuable lessons.
Because if children read it, or if parents read it to the children, they could learn to be better people and help give peace and joy in this world.
Well, enjoy, honey. Don't forget to let us know, okay?
And during Catholic Schools Week, the students at St. Thomas had an opportunity to buy the book and get it signed by the authors. Both Sister Patty Houghton and Kathy Neffinger say they believe young children can change the world and need opportunities to learn how. And Amity Grace and her stars are here to help.
Now that the people of Hidden Pines had seen the light, would goodness continue to shine? Amity Grace and her Force for Good smiled from above. Pleased with their work, they set off back into the galaxy to search for others that might need the gifts of the stars. Look up at the stars, feel the energy of their stardust, and be the goodness that shines.
What a great book with a wonderful and important message of the power of light. It was such a pleasure to interview the authors, and if you would like to purchase Amity Grace, you can call St. Thomas School at 413-739-4131. And for this week, that's Real to Real. Please follow all of the latest news on the Catholic Church at iobserve.org. There you will find news from throughout the Diocese of Springfield, plus read articles prepared by our Catholic Communications staff and our partners at Our Sunday Visitor. You can also view past episodes and segments from Real to Real. iobserve.org, your one accurate source on news involving the Catholic Church. A special programming note with NBC's coverage of the Winter Olympics beginning next week. Chalice of Salvation will air at 6 a.m. starting on Sunday, February 8th through the end of February. Real to Real will stay at the same time, but will be preempted on Saturday, February 14th. But I will see you at the same time next week for another edition of Real to Real, your window on the world around you.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.